Hello YouTube, the internet, Booktube. My name is Josie, as Gemini Reads. Today I'm going to be doing the newbie book tag. I feel like this is the rite of passage that you have to do at some point if you are a new person on the Booktube kind of scene. So I thought that it'd be like a really good idea for me to do it as my very first video. You know, just a little bit of a introduction to who I am and to kind of my reading. Hopefully you guys stick around and enjoy the video. I want to talk about books, honestly. I want to give my opinions, be them negative or positive. I hope that this will be a really good resource for people that has similar kind of reading preferences to me. I think I'm pretty boring, sorry. Hopefully bring some more awareness about Australian Aboriginal literature. Super important to me. I absolutely adore Aboriginal literature. I think even, you know, on an international scale, I think it's super important to always kind of diversify your reading. I'm Australian, but I read a lot of stories based in America, based in the UK, based in all of these other parts of the world, but the stories being told are very important, right? So I think I can hopefully bring a uniqueness of Australian and Australian Aboriginal literature. I think the biggest thing that I'm like most excited about is being able to interact with the Booktube community more fully. I watch a lot of Booktube. I have a lot of love and I get a lot of inspiration from people on Booktube. So I think it'll be really good to, you know, be a part of the foray. Oh, also, I'm super excited to be able to build a community here. I want to be able to hear opinions from all types of people. Honestly, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I've loved it since I was a kid. It can transport you to different places, be them fantastical or realistic. Reading really is like an emotional journey. I am a very character-driven reader, so I always find to be connecting with characters, and being able to connect with a fictional character is such a joy. It's so cool and I absolutely love it. Harry Potter, Percy Jackson. I loved fantasy. Also, I think when I was in like my early teens, Twilight and the Vampire Academy, I loved. I was like, yeah, I loved vampire shit when I was in my early teens, so that was fun. I also really loved manga, which I think I haven't really kept up with as much as I want to. I think that's something that I should get back into. Hopefully I will. I loved Oran High School Host Club, OG, and Fruits Basket. was such a joy to me. It was so comforting. So those are the things that I really loved. And those are the things that really got me into reading and got me like to a point where I was really passionate about reading. I could only think of like one question to ask all of them. So honestly, I think that instead of me calling out specific booktubers, I want to ask, you know, whoever stumbles across this video, I want to ask you this. If you could only recommend one book for the rest of your life, what book would that be? A book that you think is so universally well done that you could recommend it to anyone and they would probably find some joy from it. Because like, I don't even know if I was to only be able to recommend one book for the rest of my life, I cannot think of what book I would recommend. So I'm curious to know what book you would recommend. Super curious. Definitely scheduling. I've never been the best person with the schedules. I am what's known as a procrastinator. I'm very good at it. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. And also just like general anxieties about putting yourself out there on the internet for people to judge you. That is super daunting. So that's something that I think will have to be constantly improved upon. It's a mental barrier, so I think the more that I put myself out there, the more confident hopefully I will become. And I think that's a good thing, honestly. I think I was pretty young when I started reading. I started, you know, reading Harry Potter and all of those kids' books quite early on in primary school. I think I got more serious about reading when I hit my preteen kind of stage. And I used it as kind of like escapism. And I think that's like very common for people that read when they're younger. There's like a kind of aspect of we use it as an escape. And I think there was a really long period of time where I didn't read. And I'm super glad that I got back into it because it's so good. And it makes me feel really happy to be able to get back into it, to kind of rekindle something that I loved in my childhood, and being able to find it again, find something that brings me joy again. I'm super happy. I read when I go to work, and when I come home from work, I catch public transport. I'll also read when I'm going to bed as a wind down. That's always very good for me, I think, because I have terrible insomnia. So I have to stay very, very far away from technology, like 2 hours before I go to bed. Otherwise, I will not sleep. I also, on my days off from work, love to walk down to my local park. It's like a 15-minute walk. I just have a really good kind of like serene time at the park. I also, when I read in the park, I usually go to like the bakery across the street and get me an almond croissant because I love that shit, obviously. I need to like romanticize my life a little bit, so that helps. My reading has definitely evolved with age. I used to love YA fantasy. I haven't read YA or fantasy in a really long time. I wonder if I would still like it. I can't imagine that I'd hate it. But I love contemporary and literary fiction. Things that are rooted in reality, I think, I usually quite enjoy. But I also really like mythological retellings. They're super fun. As I mentioned before, I'm also a kind of character-driven reader, so those are things that I gravitate more towards. If it's kind of obvious that it's about character growth, I love that so much. So much fun. I also love books that kind of make me cry. I like books that make me cry. I want to feel something, you know, when I read. I want to feel moved. And if I feel moved, I usually get a bit teary-eyed. Okay, so that was all of the questions in the Booktube book tag. Thank you for sticking around to the end. I very much appreciate it. I am going to leave some of my social media links down in the description. Follow me if you want. Subscribe to my channel if you want. And click the like button if you want. I'm not your mother. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a very, very beautiful and lovely day.